if if the Mavs are going to trade Luka, that's one thing. Just get a better deal.
I see that your son joins you at a lot of games now.
Not enough, but as many as I can.
Well,
yeah.
I know. I mean, I remember the finals. I think I saw you and taking pictures with Jack Harlow. I mean, like that's got to be cool to have him.
Best thing ever.
To be along for the ride. What has that father-son bonding been
Well, I've
like
got
for
two
you?
daughters too, so that's
I don't want to leave them
with
out.
all my kids.
Right,
All my kids. It's amazing. There's just not enough hours in the day for them. I would spend every minute of every day with them, and it's almost. And I know you'll ask me like running for president. When it's all said and done, and I'm hopefully 105 years old or 115 years old, and on my last breath, when I look back, I don't want it to be, oh wow, I was president. I want those last memories to, when they say you relive your life, I want it to be about my kids and being there in their moments. And they're teenagers, and the oldest is 21. It's a fight just to get them to spend time with me, as anybody with teenagers know. Mm-hmm. And that's the fight I want to fight. That's most important to me.
Who's your son's favorite player?
It was Luka, but now it's Max Christie.
He did the hard shift.
Yeah, because I told him once in MFL, it's the jersey, because it was like.
I saw you. He was with you for the game in LA. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like my daughter, my middle daughter's was Quentin Grimes, and she was just so upset when we traded Quentin.
How did your son react to the trade?
About like I did.
Did you have to break it to him, or did he?
No, he knew. Like I knew 5 minutes at the most before, and so everybody else was when it hit. Everybody knew. And
did you tell him ahead of time, or did he have to
I didn't know
out?
ahead of time.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
I think that night you told me that you weren't involved with it. So are you like all the way out? Are you not? Do they not consult you on anything, or are they just?
They might tell me something after the fact, or now with Rick Welts in particular, if there's something going on where I've had experience, I'll reach out to him and just say, hey, expect this, and this. But from a basketball perspective, I hear about it after the fact. I don't hear about anything beforehand.
Is that tough? I mean, because you really took that organization from a pup 25 years ago. Is that tough being
Yeah, there are
removed?
parts that aren't fun, obviously, especially this month or last month. But, they paid for that right.
Yeah. You don't have regrets about selling the team?
Sometimes I get mad and I wouldn't have done this, but, not really, because, go back to why I sold. Mm-hmm. I don't want my kids to end up in this exact position at some level if they made a mistake, right? I mean, literally imagine if I didn't and my kids had taken over and they made a mistake like this.
You didn't want them to go down, the road of owning the
Not that I
Mavericks,
didn't want them.
or to deal with the criticism of it?
It's just social media has changed things dramatically. And they grew up with social media. All their friends are connected to them on social media. And to log in and, scroll through your feed and just see what we're seeing now, seeing what happened with the Jones family, continuously. I didn't want my kids to go through that. And then there were other things, like you can only scream at the refs and at the league about the refs for so long before it's just like, I'm an idiot. Stop. And
how much money have you paid the refs over the years?
A lot. Not the refs themselves.
No,
I've never paid the refs a penny. I offered one penny.
I almost got you there. No, I mean the league.
League of, I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then there's just the nature of the like Patrick and the Sands Corporation. They're better suited to deal with building than I am.
Really, I mean they're real estate.
Yeah,
people,
that's what they do,
right.
and I didn't want to find myself in a situation where I couldn't compete because I didn't know how to do that stuff. And with Cost Plus, instead of me diving in having to learn how to build a casino or arena, lobby, that stuff, I'd rather focus on Cost Plus from a time perspective.
Would you ever have traded Luka Doncic?
I'm not going to go there. It doesn't even matter.
I mean, I saw you were at the game though in LA, and I mean that signifies. And I think you dapped up his dad. And stands.
Sasha.
So there's some sort of.
Well, there was a connection. Just because we traded, like I still talk to Steve Nash. I mean, I went through this before when Steve Nash left and then won 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
Right. The good news is that we went to the finals and won a championship. So I've been through something, but there wasn't social media back then, so it wasn't quite the same. But Yeah, I mean, you're going to make mistakes. And, you know, I think the biggest challenge that the Mavs have right now is there's nobody who's really outgoing to communicate. And it's not so much what you do, it's how you communicate why you do what you do. And that's their challenge without me in front.
Do you think some of that is because they're kind of new to this? I mean, they've been
I think it's just
owners
not their nature.
And, well, they've been also NBA owners for about a year. And, I mean, Nico's been GM for, what, a few years.
Yeah.
But entirely, that's not a whole lot of experience. Do you feel
Well,
like that's
but-
part of it? That
No, they're just not me, right? You can't expect them to be me. Where you know, when Steve Nash left, I wrote a blog post explaining why, you know, and talking about all these things. I talked about, you know, how we traded for Luka. All these, that's what I did. You know, that was the way I connected to fans, and that's the way I tried to build a connection with fans. They're just not me,
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing. There's things they're going to do that are better than anything I can do in that regard. But you know, I still think, you know, it may take longer now, but it'll be okay.
have you talked to Luka since the trade?
Yeah, we texted a few times.
Are you guys good?
Yeah, we're good. It's like, you know, I'm still great with Sasha and Luka's team, right? I'm still friends with them. So, you know, it's just like, it took a while, but, you know, Steve Nash and I are friends again. And so.
You mentioned, I mean, was your son upset about the trade?
Yeah, I mean.
Were you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I've said this before, if you're, you know, if the Mavs are going to trade Luka, that's one thing. Just get a better deal. You know, no disrespect to Anthony Davis, but, you know, get 3. If I still firmly believe if we had gotten 4 unprotected number ones and Anthony Davis and Max Christie, this would be a different conversation.
That seems to be one of the criticism following.
Yeah, but it's not my call, so it doesn't matter.
You mentioned that you're an MF.
FL.
FL.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so hard to say. I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah,
I've been
stand
here
for
like
life.
8 years. It still
Yeah,
it does not roll
FL.
off the tongue. But
Yeah.
this has been a tough month plus
Yeah.
for fans. A lot of them are super angry. Are they justified in feeling that way?
Yeah, you're justified however you feel.
Yeah.
You know, we can't. What makes sports different than every other industry, you know, Texas Instruments has a record quarter. Nobody throws a parade. And when you win, if fans are passionate enough to show up in 100-degree weather and line the streets, then you've got to expect when things don't go the way they want, they're going to be just as passionate in response.
I've seen some comments on social media, fans who are upset at the whole situation, but some who are upset at you for selling the team. And they feel, I don't know if it's betrayal or what that emotion is, but
They didn't feel that way when we went to the finals last year.
they did not. But what would your message to those fans be who feel that, you know,
Father
that you
Time's
sold them out?
undefeated, right? Father Time's undefeated, so nobody plays forever. And so you go through adjustments, and hopefully Nico and Patrick, you know, have a plan, and they'll make it work.
They haven't consulted you at all throughout any of this.
I have not talked to Nico about it. I said hi to Nico twice after the trade.
Are you going to get back into owning an NBA team?
I mean, if someone makes me a deal, but unlikely.
Unlikely.